Hello, everybody. It is Demetra Kaye. How are you today? I hope you're having a fabulous day. I want to say hello to those on YouTube eventually, the Demetra Kaye podcast, and those on Facebook Live. Hopefully you can see the topic of Black misleadership of today, or yesterday and today. The more things change, the more they stay the same, with a question mark. And I also like to just say thank you to Donovan Sadiq, who has making all this happen. You see the green screen now, but eventually once the YouTube video is produced, you'll see all the magic that goes behind it that makes it a little bit more than what you see now. And so for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and just get into some of my notes because I have quite a bit. It won't take me too long, but I just want to give some background information as to what I'm talking about. That way we'll have a better idea of where to go or where not to go. All right, and so Black misleadership of yesterday and today. The more things change, the more they stay the same. And I also like to say the purpose always of this show is to promote love, knowledge, and understanding of Black issues so that we can be better Black people, in case anybody was confused as to why we're doing this. All right, so in 1909, an organization by the name of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, also known as the NAACP, was created. Now, it was created due to a deadly race riot and lynching that took place a year before in Illinois. Now, a group of white liberals called a meeting to discuss the racial injustice. Now, out of 60 people who attended, 7 of them were Black. Now, some of those people were W.E.B. Du Bois, Ida B. Wells, and Mary Church Terrell. Now, the NAACP was based off of Du Bois's organization called the Niagara Movement that was also seeking to end segregation and discrimination within the Black public sector. So with Black people, basically. Okay, so after lackluster success with his organization, the NAACP hired Du Bois on as the leader and the editor of their journal called The Crisis. Now, this all came from the NAACP website. Now, many of those members, including member of the Black ones, believe in the eugenics program. Now, for those of you who don't know what the eugenics program is, it's a movement that is aimed at improving genetic composition of the human race. Now, this was created by a woman by the name of Margaret Sanger. Now, she believed in sterilization and just different birth control methods to make sure that the downtrodden, in her eyes, lackluster people and Black people, Black women specifically, didn't procreate, causing more of a burden on society. Now, these were her ideologies. Now, again, she was in line with the NAACP, or they were in line with her, rather. All right, now, Du Bois was quoted as saying, "The mass of ignorant Negroes still breed carelessly and disastrously, so that the increase among Negroes, even more than the increase among whites, is from that part of the population least intelligent and fit, and least able to rear their children properly." Now, this was a Black man who sat at the helm of the NAACP, who was making these comments, or those comments rather, about his own people. Hey, you guys, and I'll get to your comments in just a second. And so, did they hire Du Bois to sell their cause of eugenics? Okay, well, let's go further. Mary Bethune-McLeod, a Black educator and Black leader, was another proponent of the eugenics program. She was the founder of the National Council of Negro Women, which represented the national and international concerns of Black women. Now, once the funding was given to Bethune's clinic from the Negro Project, I'm sorry, and I'm not losing my voice of getting it back, so bear with me. I sound like I'm going through puberty. Okay, so remember, the Negro Project was Margaret Sanger's eugenics plan for Black people. Now, the white men who were leading the Birth Control Federation of America took over Bethune's organization, and the sterilization of Black women began. So they duped her, for lack of better words. Hey, Mary, we're going to help you, help the Black women. And then once they got a hold of it, it was like, aha, thanks, we got it from here. All right. So why would a bunch of white folks want to ensure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of rights of Black people to eliminate race discrimination, or race-based discrimination rather. Where were all those good white folks during slavery? Now remember, during slavery, they needed black people because black people did what? Black people made America what it is. Black people made America great in their eyes as far as picking cotton and doing the hard labor. Once slavery was over, black people became a burden to society. So you know what? Let's get rid of them, right? And listen, these aren't my words. This is the stuff I research, and most of you guys already know this stuff anyway. Now, in addition to the aforementioned black leaders, Martin Luther King Jr. was associated with Margaret Sanger and her Negro Project. Okay, check it out. In fact, he was the recipient of the Margaret Sanger Award. At the time, he was not available to receive the award, but his wife, Coretta, received it for him and read a speech that he prepared. He thanked the organization for the award and said that he would consider it, quote unquote, one of his most cherished possessions. Now, that was in 1966. But earlier in 1939, now check this out, you guys. This is the jaw dropper. In 1939, Margaret Sanger, who believed in exterminating black folks and lackluster people in society by way of birth control, wrote this passage that I'm getting ready to read to you guys in a letter to a friend of hers who was a doctor. And she said, quote unquote, this is her words, "We should hire 3 or 4 colored ministers, preferably with social service backgrounds and with engaging personalities. The most successful educational approach to the Negro is through religious appeal. We don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. And the minister is the man who can straighten all of that out if ever it occurs to any of their more rebellious members." So she's saying, you know, let's get somebody with some charisma. Now you think about Martin Luther King. Did she not describe Martin Luther King to a T almost 30 years before he got this award? I mean, he was a child when she wrote this letter. All right, so moving along to modern times. Just recently, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan came under fire from the Jewish community for saying that the powerful Jews were his enemies and that the Jews are responsible for all of this filth and bad behavior is what I'm trying to say.
Degenerative, yeah.
There you go, degenerative behavior that Hollywood is putting out, turning men into women and women into men. All right. Now, from that point, many black leadership have been asked to resign by the GOP and many Jewish faith-based organizations because they didn't denounce the minister for saying those things. Now, some of those people include 7 members of the Congressional Black Caucus. Of those people, you have Representative Barbara Lee, Danny Davis, Gregory Meeks, and Keith Ellison, who used to be in the Nation of Islam, but once he started moving up the political ladder, he started to denounce Farrakhan, and the Nation of Islam. All right. Now, the Congressional Black Caucus was created 47 years ago with the purpose of eradicating racism. How is that working out for us so far? Okay. Now, when they first started, they were aligned with the ideas of fighting for civil rights. But now it is said that it's just concerned with pushing its political weight around. So they want to use their status as Congressional Caucus members or, you know,
fighters of justice.
Yeah, if you don't do what we say, we're going to organize and we're not going to do A, B, C, and D. So it's like a political, you know, thing now for them. Now, it is also said they refuse to conform to new ideas. Their membership enjoys a high incumbency rate, and their ideas are usually in favor of the Democrat Party. I don't think that's a secret, right? Now, I'm almost done. I know that was a lot. Now, John Lewis marched with King and Selma over 50 years ago for civil rights, but he told black folks to be with her. Remember, I'm with her, Hillary Clinton.
And then when Obama was popular when the first time, then he wanted to switch when everything seemed like it was going Obama's way.
Right. And so now, so when Hillary was running for president, now Hillary and her former president husband signed policies that harm the civil rights of black people. Where has he and others like him truly led us? And listen, I'm not trying to be disrespectful because I know John Lewis is, you know,
he's an icon.
He's very icon. He's respected in the March for Civil Rights. And so we should never take that away from him. But I saw even the other day, he was celebrating the fact that it was, I don't know what he was celebrating.
The 53rd anniversary of crossing the Selma Bridge and getting his skull cracked.
Yes, okay, so where has it truly led us? And I'm finishing up here. Has anybody seen Al or Jesse? Where are they at? Because weren't they fighting for black people and all this other stuff? All right, now these are the questions I'm going to ask. I'm not saying they are or they're not. I'm just asking. Is people like Sean King, Angela Rye, Van Jones, your Cory Bookers, and others like them really trying to help black folks? Like, what's their agenda really? All right? Who are those people really working for and why? Those people and organizations tell us what to think and who to vote for. Do they not? Most of those people support and are members of the NAACP in this Congressional Black Caucus. Are they not? Most of those people are considered fairly intelligent. Are they not? Farrakhan said, what good does it do to have a brilliant black head connected to just the black body if they're not going to actually help the black body? He also says that black leadership is winning, but the masses keep losing. Wouldn't those folks know the organizations such as the NAACP had founders and members that supported the Negro Project, otherwise known as eugenics, and the sick and twisted plot of Margaret Sanger, who was also in cahoots with the KKK? They were homies. They were like, okay, this is what we need to do. And so, you know, everybody's running around talking about Hillary, Planned Parenthood, and, you know, all this other stuff. But all of these people that I just mentioned, they were all in cahoots. Even the NAACP, they were for, most of their members were for the eugenics program. All right. So the question I have is, so why would we continue to let them lead us down the same path of yesterday? Let's talk.
I have a quick question.
Go ahead. I'm going to get to the comments here.
Would you also say, we talk about eugenics and stuff now, a lot of people don't talk about the black genocide of, you know, abortions that are going on within the black community that actually happens.
And for you guys, those of you guys tuning in, that's Donovan. I'm going to show you guys real quick. That way you won't wonder who he is. That's Donovan.
Hope I didn't scare you. So,
all right.
But my question is, with the Holocaust of black babies being aborted at alarming rates.
Yes.
Do you think that maybe the narrative that is going on within NAACP and some of these black leadership, why is it that we're putting in our children's heads that you have a baby, your life is over?
Well, because that's kind of what's been sold to us from the beginning. Okay. You know, just the baby's gonna be a burden. Hell, you're a burden, so don't cause everybody else a burden. Oh, the taxpayers this, the taxpayers that. Just go ahead and get rid of it. It's free.
Which is another form of
it's eugenics. Exactly. That's what Planned Parenthood was born out of, the eugenics program. Hey, let's set up these clinics and, you know, give these
help these
people.
Folks.
Yeah, let's help them get, you know, make life easier for them, but it's really making life easier for us. And so I'll get to your comments. Dennis, you say, hey, Demetra, what's happening, Dennis? Ronice, what's happening? Quentin, long time no see. Samuel, she said black people were human weeds. Yes, among a lot of stuff. You know, burdens to society, the downtrodden, just the worst.
Burden or
hey,
menace.
Naomi.
Burden or menace.
All of that. Well, you know, thorn in her side.
Right.
And Dennis, she says, not really. And Samuel says, wow, W.E.B. Du Bois and Bethune. Yes.
Yes, they were involved.
Look it up. They were involved. I don't know to what degree, but you heard the comment that Du Bois said he was more or less like they breathe carelessly. They're unintelligent and they're unfit. And so let's help them alleviate them and us of having to take care of them. Because as you know, too, W.E.B. Du Bois was the author of the Talented 10th program. And that was a 10%, talented 10% of the black race is supposed to go acquire knowledge and skills and stuff and come back and teach the other 9/10 or the 90% of us. But in his, if I'm in his head, he's thinking, okay, we have 90% that we need to teach. Let's not have it be the 90% that we deem that's unacceptable.
Okay.
At least these people need to be teachable. Some people in our, you know, we just don't want to deal with some black people. So let's just get rid of them from the womb. Hey, Ruben, where have you been? You say you are on to something, you think? And then she says, nice dude. Thank you so much. I tried to do it a little lopsided today. So I hope you guys don't think my afro was flat on one side.
Were you going for the Bobby Brown look?
I think so, but it's the Bobby Brown, the Bobby Brown of 2018.
Oh, 18. Okay.
Yeah.
Out.
Hey, Joey said that is why the church got to go. We don't talk about them too. King too. Yes, Samuel. King too. King, you heard it. He said he would always consider that one of his most prized possessions, the award that Margaret Sanger's organization gave to him. And, Margaret Sanger was trying to exterminate black people. Her organizations took black women and sterilized them against their will in a lot of cases, lied to them, coerced them into doing these things, making their womb to where they couldn't produce anymore. So
in recent history, the Tuskegee experiment, that was another thing that they did, giving black men
the syphilis, and saying that
and see what happens to them.
It couldn't be cured, and all they needed was a shot of penicillin. Right. Yep. William, hey, you says misleaders cannot be respected. And you also say no, and then you also say the establishment room. You say you were all talking about it, and Jonelle says peace, queen and family. What's happening? And then Samuel says, I believe the chemtrails like crop dusting are really to destroy human weeds. And Ruby says, McAllen, Texas. Well, no, absolutely. I mean, it does make you wonder, what all of those things are about. I mean, you think about the people who are in control of what we drink and what we eat. Hell, you can't even go to the store and get a organic apple because is it really organic? How do you know it's organic? Because they put a sticker on it.
And then once again, people don't follow politics because they're so disenfranchised. Trump just authorized the coal industry to dump toxins back into the lakes.
Right. So where's that water going?
Exactly.
But people, we won't research it. And somebody made a good point about the church. Well, Margaret Sanger, with her organization of eugenics, she said right there in her letter, black people are so religious. If you're going, and come on, we're all smart enough to know if you're going to do or try to get anything through to black people, do it through the church.
Do it through the church.
Do it through religion because we are religious. I don't want to call it a hype because I don't want to be disrespectful to people who do go to church, but we do. We talk about the Bible, but we won't read the Bible. Bible tells us to study, to show thyself approved, rightfully dividing the word of truth so that we will know things for ourselves, but we won't do that. We just take everything at face value. And so to Margaret Sanger's point, let's go get a couple of charismatic preachers who, give them the fire and brimstone and talk a good game and, sell our program. And those Negroes ain't going to care because he up there hooping and hollering.
And what's really sad is we are so religious, the pastor could be sleeping with everybody in the church.
And we'll just be like, let go, let God, God, he's sorry. We need to forgive him and move on. And all of that kind of stuff. Hey, Ronald, he says, we are the original people. You better believe it. And Ruben says, I am a fitness trainer for Fit Science. The proprietor is Candace M. Fox. Okay. Well, so maybe you can give us some fitness tips. But so, yeah, I mean, at some point in time, and the reason I thought this was important, especially now, is because as you guys know, it's election season. It's coming up very soon. It's election season is coming up very soon. And so we're going to have all of these politicians, hey, Asada, who are going to be pandering to the black community once again.
Maxine Waters, I reserve my time.
I saw a clip
I reserve my time.
Yeah,
I reserve my time.
I'm reclaiming my time.
Okay, go ahead.
I saw a clip of Maxine Waters the other day. She was somewhere in Los Angeles, her and Angela Rye, and I forget what they were talking about, but the brother got up and asked, he says, well, okay, if we elect you for the most part, are you going to be willing to take up the cause of reparations? And she said, yes, she would.
She said that
15 years ago. I sure would.
She said that 15 years ago.
Well, she said it again. So to your point, if she said that 15 years ago, here we are 15 years later. It's election season. Oh, yeah, I'll tell you guys, I'll take up the arms of reparations to see if we can get y'all some money.
2 years from now. Oh, I didn't get around to that. But next time.
Right.
And nobody wants to hear all that. Matter of fact, everybody wants to hear why Angela Rye and Common broke up. Let's talk about that.
We don't care why Angela Rye and Common broke up. Because as far as I'm concerned,
but that's my point of how we're quick to get that kind of stuff.
Right.
And we don't.
We all up in a business.
Right.
And then let's see. Missed some comments here. And then Al says, I see Al's gal, but where can you find a woman like Jesse's gal? Lord have mercy. But ask Jesse Jackson or Rick Springsteen or somebody. And Ruby says, I've read it 9 times and still reading it. What is that? And then Samuel says, we forgive pastors for just about anything except for messing with the money. And even then, Samuel, even then, he could get up there and say, wow, what happened was. It give us.
I'm calling Savior.
He'll give us an excuse and we'll say, you know what? Well, if he had to take that trip to the Bahamas, he was out there doing some soul winning in the Bahamas. He had to do it. We'll still forgive him.
And what kills me is when you got these pastors that mix into politics. When Corrine Brown went to prison, all these pastors were like, oh, well, she's done so much for the community. This woman got indicted on 18 of 24 counts. Account for that. Let's forget stealing from the children. Account for the mail fraud, this fraud, that. Right. Pastors are like, well, she has a good spirit. And
yeah, but she gained almost $1 million from the peoples.
Right. But see, the reason why they supported her is because she was supporting them.
Right. They're all they're all in cahoots together. Listen, Pastor, I need you to go talk to the black community. Yeah, for those of you guys who go to church, if I'm lying, I'm flying. And only time I fly is if I'm in a plane, okay? It's election season. Watch how many black politicians and even some white ones come up in the church. Well,
I need your support.
Such and such congregation. It's so glad to see you. It's election season and I'm running for the such and such district. And it sure would be nice to, see you out there in the polls. I'm not asking you to vote for me, but if you do, my name is Demetra Kaye.
Absolutely.
I hope I don't go to hell.
No. Look, you're actually a prophetess. You're actually...
I'm the prophetess. I'm an apostle.
Got it. An apostle.
Hey, Floyd, and you say people always forget about the midterms. Yes. Peoples. That's the most important election you will participate in is the midterm.
Not the presidential.
Not the presidential because as they say, those presidents are chosen. They got other people to answer to. But right here at home, whether it's your assembly people, your council people, your Congress people, the judges, the sheriffs, those people directly affect us, and especially black people, because we know there's a lot of judges that sit up on that bench and, going to give Ray 5 years for a dime bag of weed. But, the white man come up in there, he going to have more than that. He going to be like, probation. Well, just don't do it again.
Yeah,
okay?
Probation.
Yeah, probation.
And then, since we're talking about misrepresentation and misleading of the black leaders, can somebody please explain to me how does Maxine Waters, Corrine Brown, Chaka, whatever his name is.
We still ain't found out his last name. I think it's Chaka Golden.
Yeah, these guys become multi-millionaires. Maxine Waters is worth over $68 million. And she has not had a job other than a congressional job. So how is she being enriched?
Because these people here, and I'm going to get to the rest of your comments, these people like your Congress people and all these other people, they are funded by these larger operations, these corporations, what's the Bradley Corporation, people like that who are really right-wing organizations, but they get these, black Democrats and people in there too and say, hey, you know what, we're going to fund this, that, and the other, go out there and sell the cause of the people. Give them just a little bit, get them hyped up a little bit, but don't, be careful because we don't want them to get too hyped, And then she said, all right now. And then Ruby say, you work out constantly. I need to get on your bandwagon, working out constantly too. And Ronnie says, tell him, sister, I'm trying. Al says it's common illiterate because he talks really slow. I have no idea, but I do like his music. And then Dennis, you say, God is good. And so I don't, again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful
to anybody's religion.
Yeah, to anybody's religion. I'm personally not religious, although I used to be. So that's why I know a lot about the Bible. So for a lot of people who are always trying to thump the Bible and give me all these scriptures, and I'm like, are you really reading the book? Just like, let's say for anybody who was a Trump supporter. You're a Trump supporter. Donovan's not a Trump supporter.
I'm a Trump supporter.
I stab him with this Sharpie. How could you be a Trump supporter and profess that you're a Christian? Where are any of the things that Trump does or says to and about and people? Where is that kind of stuff found in the Bible?
Yeah, he's cheating on his wife.
Yeah,
his current wife was a porn star. Then he cheats on her with another porn star.
Yeah, I mean, where does it say that Trump is supposed to be doing all? Yeah, it does say respect your leaders, but isn't your leader supposed to be doing stuff that's respectable? Is it like a two-way street? And then Al says, amen, good times, Sanford and Son. What's happening? Jeffersons all have episodes about crooked politicians.
Yes.
Yes. And, believe it or not, those shows were scripted and directed by white people like the Norman Lears and people like that. But they had a lot of black writers. So what were they really trying to say to the black community? Because, let's be honest, black people watch TV more than anybody. And so during those times, we were watching those. So specifically the episode on Good Times where they had the black Jesus, and we talk about this a lot.
Well, hello, Simba, and goodbye.
JJ painted him.
Don't finger me, Michael. I had him in the closet where he wasn't performing no miracles for nobody.
Mama, couldn't we at least let black Jesus hang alongside?
Forget it. The only Jesus I know is him, and the one thing he don't need is a partner. Hush up, both of you. This picture has been in my family for as long as I can remember. When I was a baby, I don't know what I saw first. My mama, my papa, or this Jesus. Now, he's the one I know and love, so let's close the subject. Jesus was black, the Bible would have said so.
But it does say so.
What are you talking about?
I read about it. It's in Revelations chapter 1, verse 14. It says, his hair is like wool, and his eyes are like flame of fire.
Well, Lord have mercy. It sure do say that, don't it?
And see, Mama, look at her hair, like wool, ain't it? And look at them eyes, red like fire.
Yeah, they sure
Mama, how do we know Jesus wasn't black? He could have been from the lost tribe of Israel. They were supposed to be black.
I bet they were. If ever people were lost, we're it. If ever people were lost, we're it.
Black Jesus on the wall in Florida was like, oh, hell no. That's blasphemy. That's not, Jesus wasn't black. Jesus was white. But it's like, okay, Florida, and I'm just kind of chastising the writers a little bit. If you are such a big Bible thumper, you of all people should have held up a black Jesus on the wall before Michael did. Because if you're truly reading the Bible, you know that there's no way in heaven, I was going to say hell, that Jesus could have been a lily white man with rosy cheeks, blonde hair, and blue eyes. There's no way.
And if you look at the world geography, most people in that area are dark skinned.
Dark skin.
In warmed areas, people are
right. So it's like you don't even have to be. Because listen, y'all, I'm not even that smart at all. But what I do know how to do is read. Sometimes I know I jack up the stuff here, but I do know how to read and I know how to Google. And so Ronald, he says, peace unto you and the family, and the same to you. And Al says the only time most Christians read the Bible is when they are on the toilet. Wow. Well, maybe they should be inculcating the information while they're there. I was going to go a little bit further with that, but I'm not. And so, again, why do we continue letting, wow, I took y'all all the way back to 1909, that we have continuously fallen in the trap. Like I said, you think about a lot of these pundits on TV, just different politicians, they are always telling us who to vote for.
Who's popular.
What agenda to do. Join this organization, that organization. But if you just take a step back and say, okay, you want me to join, let's say, and I'm not trying to beat up on the NAACP because I am friends with people who are part of the NAACP. But okay, you want me to join the NAACP. All right, well, let me look and see what the NAACP is about. Now, in all fairness, the NAACP, they do show up to different things when people are, given injustice and that kind of stuff. So they do those type of things. But as large as that organization is, and as long as they've been around, their real major claim to fame should not be dated back to 1967. When, what was it, the Voters' Right Act or something?
Act and the Civil Rights
Act. The Civil Rights Act,
65, the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, 67.
Yeah, so that shouldn't be their last huge claim to fame. We should have moved the ball a little bit, I would say a lot more in all those times. Hell, like I said, that's the voting right has been around as long as I've been, longer than I've been alive.
Right, exactly.
And I'm not even that old.
For those, and then for those that are self-proclaimed Democrats, ask yourself, why am I a Democrat? Most likely because your parents were a Democrat.
Right.
And then right now in the Democratic Party, and I'm not bashing the Democratic Party, I'm an independent. Every black person should be independent and vote, because both parties have good ideas. I'm very sure everybody knows that. However, right now, if there was the election held for the president tomorrow, who is the leader in the Democratic Party?
Well, it's funny that you asked that because I've seen lately Sean Kings and different people talking about, well, not that he's a Democrat, but he switched over, Bernie Sanders. I've heard a lot of people start to talk about Bernie Sanders again.
Right. Now, well, like I said, take Bernie out of it because he ran in the last election.
Right.
I'm just saying right now, who is leading the Democratic Party? You know why you don't know?
That one of the Kennedys?
No. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know why you don't know? Because they haven't told you.
Right.
They haven't told you.
Yeah, and to your point, they're going to tell us who to vote for, and we're going to do it. But to his point, black people should we should form our own independent party and say collectively, this is who, and that's Dr. Claude Anderson's theory as well. I mean, he originated it as far as I know, or maybe he didn't, but he's more popular for saying it, is that we should collectively vote together. Okay, we're going to vote for Arthur Johnson. I'm just making that up. Okay, he's good. He's going to do stuff for black people. He's going to serve the purpose of black people. Okay, black people, this is who we are voting for.
Right.
Regardless if he's popular with everybody or not. And then Rumi says, the Mormons made Christ white. Somebody made him white. But we all know, if reading the Bible, that, Christ...
They described him.
Completely. Yeah, but why is that, though? I mean, but this is what a lot of people don't understand, too, is when those who control the narrative, you got to think about it. Who controls the narrative? They're able to say, well, hell, we see that he's black in the Bible, but since we control the narrative, we own the media and this, that, and the other, we gonna make him white, y'all.
Napoleon always said, history is written by the winners.
Exactly. And you think about it, slaves couldn't read. A lot of them couldn't, because it was against the law. They would be killed, a lot of them, if they were caught reading. And so they didn't read. They couldn't see that, okay, y'all telling me that Jesus is white, but here in this Bible, he's black.
Hair of wool.
So they just took their word for it. And from slavery until today, there's a lot of black people who think Jesus is white. And God forbid you try to tell them they're not. You might get disowned, And then she say, amen. And Holland, what's happening, says, good day, my kings and queens. Good day to you as well. And Al says, it would be incumbent for black people to put the Bible down first and then pick up a pen and get registered to vote. Well, yeah, we do need to get registered to vote, but vote responsibly. A vote is an investment. A vote is it should, if we do it right, ensure that we get the needs and our concerns right. But then, we start practicing group economics. It's like,
no, I don't want to. I don't want to vote because it doesn't matter who I vote for. It doesn't affect me. I don't. It's just not worth my time to vote.
Yeah, okay.
And then when you have that attitude, they win.
Right, and then when your cousin end up going to jail for something stupid, and then he gets arrested, by the sheriff's department, who has somebody in charge who is not favorable to black people, and then he stands before a judge who has a high sentencing rate of black people for nonsense, then that's when it's going to matter to you.
A lot of people don't even know this. Do you know some of the greatest Supreme Court? Who's the head of the Supreme Court? What's he called? The head guy?
Hell if I know.
Yeah, well, the Chief Justice, of the Supreme Court never even knew law. John Marshall, he was one of them.
Yeah, because they say you don't have to be a lawyer. Yeah.
Exactly. So when you got these people running for judge in your county, most likely you don't have to have a law degree to do that.
Right.
Because the law is based on common sense.
Right.
And common law.
But it'd be helpful if they did.
Yeah, it'd be helpful if you know law. Well, I don't know. Because that's why you have lawyers that screw everything up. They make it worse. But some of your most successful Chief Justice in United States history didn't know anything about law. They were just common people that use common sense.
And that's partially why we're at. Yeah. Okay, and so then it should say, stop rumors from running around. Stop spreading the lies. Are we spreading lies, Dennis? Tell us, what lies are we spreading? And hey, Billy, where have you been? And Holland says, Asada Toppin, I'm tuned in. Yay. And she says, I see you. And so, again, I'm going to keep going back to that question. What do we need to do differently to stop being led astray? Because, I was thinking about this morning. Let's take, Barack Obama. I know that's a sore subject with a lot of people. And I don't know if I read that Obama also, the peoples, whoever they are, asked Obama, how do you feel about Farrakhan's statement regarding the Jews? And by way of his spokeswoman, he says, I still denounce the minister. Now, if you guys have been paying attention, in January, Farrakhan talked about this picture for many years back. Well, actually, right after Obama got out of office, he said, there's a picture. So a lot of people are probably thinking, yeah, right. And in January, an author who wrote an article, or I think it was a book, published this picture.
Mm-hmm. See, I told you he was a Muslim. I told you.
And lo and behold, I don't know if he's a Muslim, you know, but there's this picture of Barack Obama. So at one point in time, you rock with the minister. Now all of a sudden, you know, white folks and the powers that be told you not to do it. Now you're not going to do it.
Right.
You know?
Well, you got to remember, he's from Chicago, so that, I mean, it isn't far-fetched to believe that he did rock with the minister.
Right. But so now you have all these people telling you, and listen, I'm not defending the minister because the minister don't need me to do that. Right. But I want to speak, you know, truth to power and speak some facts. What has Farrakhan done or said that is wrong? All Farrakhan has ever tried to do is help black people be better black people. But yet now you have this establishment that's telling everybody, look at Negroes, nigga, you better get on Twitter and you better denounce the minister. Right. Otherwise, we ain't going to vote for you. You better do what we say because, oh, he said this and that about the Jewish people. Now, whether he said what he said is true or not, do your research. I watched the webcast of the Nation of Islam today, and Brother Wesley Muhammad broke it all down. And it's like, okay, well, where's the lie? So you guys do your research on that. But it's like, who are they? They being white people, the Jewish people, to tell black people who they should follow, who they should pay attention to, who is not worthy. Hell, what have they done? And Dr. Boyce Watkins, I'm going to get to you guys' point in just a second. Dr. Boyce Watkins made a good point. He says these Jewish people want everybody to denounce Farrakhan, but how come they're not denouncing different people like the record labels? Jewish people, let's be honest, Jewish people own a lot of record labels that hire or give black people like the Young Thugs and all these dudes walking around in dresses and, you know, makeup and nail polish and all this other stuff, which do your thing, boo. But they say derogatory things about black people all the time, or, you know, bitches and hoes, but they give those type of people money. Where's all the outrage then? Why are you upset? Why is it now because he said something about Jewish people that he needs to be denounced? And as anybody can see, Farrakhan ain't scared of nobody. Like you say, I'm the freest black man walking around. If I really had some dirt on me, don't you think I'd be in jail right now? And so let me shut up now. And so Al says, I never really gave a care what color Jesus is, because if people would do what you say, listen and know who you are first. Absolutely. And then Billy says, sorry, been busy. He says, but I'm here, laugh out loud. And Ruben says, if Hispanics register, they will own this country. Blacks have a high percentage of voters, but they kill off their population by abortion.
That's what we said.
You're right. You know, and that's one of the ways we kill off our abortion. Let's stop killing our babies.
Stop telling these young girls that, oh, you have a baby, your life is over. Everybody's entitled to a mistake.
Right. Work it out.
Right.
You know, we need to come together as a community and figure it out.
And start teaching these young men to step up and be men and
absolutely.
Take care of their responsibilities. It's a joint venture.
Absolutely. And then it says reading the Bible on the toilet. Oh, that wasn't me. I listen. I'm just moderating the comments. Okay?
I do some of my best reading when I'm on the toilet. I guess that must be a man thing.
It must be a man thing. And it also says one way not to be led astray is to stay at home and not let the shopping mall make frequent calls. I don't know what that means,
amen, brother.
Amen, hallelujah. Jonelle says the minister didn't let the picture out so Obama could get in the office. Yes. Exactly, and he said that. He said, he agreed. Him and Obama agreed that they wouldn't do that. So he can go on and do all the things he was supposed to do politically. You know, he became a senator, and then obviously we know he became the president, but Farrakhan did him a favor. Yeah. Because, you know, the oppressors, the powers that be was gunning for him. And all they had to do was just drop that picture and it would have been a wrap.
And it's just funny how the white so-called bomber that he was supposedly hanging out with, the white guy, they were all up in arms about that.
Roy Ayers.
Yeah, Roy Ayers. You know, but let him be with his own people. Oh, don't do that at all.
Right. And as I was watching the podcast or the webcast this morning, Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad said, the day of white folks picking our leaders is over. Stop allowing them to tell us who to follow. You notice that they, for years and years, they've been telling us not to follow people like Farrakhan, but we can follow people like Jesse, Al, you know, your Cory Bookers, who is a pawn for the white man, Oprah, all of these people, we can follow them.
So I got a story to tell.
Okay.
I sent last summer, Last summer, I sent 22 kids to China. I haven't read that anywhere. Over 60 kids got Congressional Black Caucus scholarships. I haven't read that anywhere. I am prepared to tell my story. My work speaks for itself.
So, the head of the charity has already pled guilty.
I don't have any. I'm talking about what Corrine Brown has done. Mm-hmm. I can only speak for what I've done. Mm-hmm. My work speaks for itself. 22 kids went to China. Where is that? You all are smart. Where the research you've done on that? Free. It was Congresswoman Corrine Brown and the Chinese government. Over 60 people have received Congressional Black Caucus scholarships, in addition, including Chris Chestnut and several other people. And then I've sent a group to boot camp. Where's that? I understand. You know, it's really hard being a black woman with a mouth. But I am black woman with a mouth and will use that mouth to speak up for the people I represent. Thank you.
Right, but the prosecutors have alleged you've done certain things, and I was wondering if you could respond to those allegations directly.
Yes, that's right. Half-truth witch hunt.
But could you respond to the allegations directly about
half-truths and witch hunt?
I mean, there's a lot of questions about where the money is gone.
I don't have any questions. I have no questions.
No, but the public has a lot of questions.
No. You may have a lot of questions because you haven't done any research. Did you know I sent kids to China? No, you didn't. Nobody gonna tell you. 22 kids went to China free. I wonder why you don't know anything about that. Why you don't know that I gave 60 kids scholarships.
So do you have a direct response to the allegations that prosecutors are making?
No, absolutely not. That's what the team attorney do. Team Brown is to let people know, well, we got a new cemetery in Tallahassee, a Corrine Brown initiative. Florida A&M got $5 million a year from NASA, a Corrine Brown initiative. My job is to let people know what I've done. Team attorney is to deal with that witch hunt.
But a man who's speaking truth to power and trying to uplift black people, oh, he's an anti-Semite. Oh, he's hateful. He's racist. We know that Farrakhan can't be racist.
Right. My mom always said that you notice the difference. When a person is speaking truth, you can't stop them. When a person isn't speaking truth, right, you can shut them down.
Absolutely. Al says here in Houston it's pronounced who is they. Asada says protection. And then you also say abstinence. Yeah, I mean, we need to teach our girls and our boys that, listen,
your life is not over.
Having a baby is not like going to the mall and buying some shoes. It's a whole life altering experience for not just till they're 18 and to the rest of your life. You're always y'all see these gray hairs I got?
And you're always going to be tied to that person you had a baby with
until
you're dead.
Yes, I got these gray hairs. My daughter be 26, but that little girl.
She turned out all right.
She turned out all right.
I will tell you that.
And Billy says, I agree. The mistakes you have, birth is to our future. Mm-hmm. I mean, we need to just, like, if we're gonna get pregnant, have the baby.
Have the baby.
We need Dr. Claude Anderson talks about it all the time. It used to be white people were at the top of the population, black people, Hispanics, everyone else. Now it's white people, Hispanics, and blacks. So it kind of gives you a clue as to why white people want to build the wall.
Right.
Why they're interested in, deporting the Mexicans, because they're like, wow, they're about to catch us in population. And pretty soon we ain't going to have a say. So we need to stay the majority.
Yeah. And the good thing is, I mean, it's not really a good thing. It's really sad. The black population black population has been staying at a steady rate of 13% of the population for the last 40, almost 50 years.
Why is that though? Shouldn't we have boomed somewhere?
Yeah, we should have. But
we should have had a population
black
boom.
on black crime, incarceration,
which is a myth, brother.
Right. But I'm just saying, us killing each other ain't helping our.
No, it's
numbers.
not. It's not helping. Yeah, I mean, anytime you murk somebody, that decreases the population. Right. So
incarceration rates,
which is when you say, oh, voting is not that big of a deal,
and then our kids being confused with their sexuality.
Right, which, a lot of it comes from the music that they listen to
and what they see on TV.
Right. So, and then Al, you say, and then Ruben, you said adoption. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Adoption is also a form. There's plenty of people who want black babies.
Yeah,
they should be anyway.
Yeah, well, you remember in the 90s when all these people were going over to China, adopting these Chinese babies?
Yeah.
And China put a stop to that.
Right.
You got so many black kids that are waiting to be adopted. How could the United States even allow a citizen of the United States to go somewhere else and get a kid when you have kids here?
Well, because black babies, aren't really that, unless you're Madonna or somebody.
Well, yeah, it didn't even have to be a black man. I'm talking about just as, you got adopted kids here.
Well, maybe it was fashionable at the time,
Yeah, it's like a little pet.
Right. A little pet, God. And then, let's see. Allie says, I said it before. You did listen. The countdown has started. What countdown? I'm missing something. Maybe I missed the comment. And Jonelle says, when do the research the Jews have been anti-Semite to their own so-called Semites? They paid Hitler for their Holocaust. Jews served in Hitler military as well. Some Jews were generals for Hitler. I mean, it's like, so why are we mad at Farrakhan for stating things that are obvious? I know it's unfashionable, to talk about Jewish people. But was he telling the truth? I mean, that's for you guys to decide. Was he telling the truth? Was he just speaking?
That's the bottom line.
Exactly. It's like they should be mad about all of it, not just when it's about you. Be mad about all of it, And then for you guys, me and Jonelle, we had this conversation via inbox. Tamika Mallory, she is one of the leaders of the Women's March, the organizers, and she came under heat as well because she is a staunch advocate of Farrakhan. She said for the last 30 years, that she sat at Savior's Day with her family, and the Nation of Islam was there for her when her son's father was murdered when 17 years ago or whatever. And so, they want her to denounce her leader, somebody that she's looked up to.
If she wants this money.
If you want this money, but it's like, okay, but again, I like Tamika Mallory. I think she's doing an awesome job. And Jonelle opened my eyes to them things that, she needs to be where she's at in order to further the cause of black people. But I think at some point in time, too, we need to realize that the women's movement was never about black people. Never, ever, ever. Where are her fellow sisters to say, hey, leave Tamika alone. She can go to wherever she wants. She's a woman. She should be able to follow who she wants. Where are all these women that backing her up?
I'm with her.
I'm just asking. I'm asking the question.
They'll defend Hillary till the end, but this is the same policies that put their sons in jail.
Exactly, and continue to do so. And Jonelle says the Jews owe us black people reparations. They regulate the slave trade and had their own slave ships and plantations, own cotton businesses as well. As us so-called slaves and sugarcane fields and various, products we were used for and pimp via labor and etc. There it is. Where's the lie in that? Hey, Arsan, what's happening?
I mean, how could you rebut that?
Yeah, but so, again, because the establishment, politics and all that are so used to us as black people just zombie. Okay. Okay, over here now.
Yes.
Okay, how about they're used to us doing that to where they're like, look, Negroes, we need y'all to stop following that damn Farrakhan. He's evil.
He's making trouble. Yeah, he's making trouble for us.
Why he's evil? Because he's pointing out the evil that was done to black people by the same people who are telling us that Farrakhan. How do you follow the madness? How do you follow that? It's like, but that's why I'm asking us as black people. Are we going to continue to go down that path of allowing them to tell us who to vote for, what to think, what to say, what to do? You guys ever notice that they are giving us our leaders? Donovan made that point earlier. They are giving us our leaders. Like you said, we don't know who because black people overall, we vote Democrat, but we don't know who that person is going to be until they tell us. All right, you guys. Kermit the Frog is now running for, president of the Democrat Party. Right. And we need you guys to get behind him. And so what do? We get behind him.
And knowing, what's really sad is a lot of us that knew about Hillary and her background and what was going on, they still supported her, knowing that this woman has no agenda to address our issues or even cares to address our issues.
Right. And again, she was, it's famous. It's on everywhere you look. If you can Google it. Hell, you can throw a rock and find it, where she called black boys super predators. She said they need to be made to heal. Bowed down, brought down. But yet, I'm with her. Her and her husband have enacted policies that have, you guys remember when Bill Clinton, President Clinton at the time, he was signing the Welfare Reform Act.
Which put a lot of black men in jail.
But who did he have standing right next to him?
Hillary, right there.
No, he had one. I don't know if Hillary is there, but he had 2 black women.
Oh, yeah, the black women behind, yeah.
They had 2 black women standing there. So what did that signify to the rest of America and to reaffirm the ideology of the racists out there? It's black women who he's taught. He signed this for black women. Who was it that called them the welfare queens? Reagan called black women the welfare queens.
You know, and in that one situation, you're going to have people, you know, and it just kills me how they point out something that is insignificant, but then you see what they do on their level, and that's like normal.
Yeah, because it wasn't a lady who was building the system, but it's like, come on, dude.
Yeah. I mean,
y'all acting like that was the only woman, but black woman out there.
Right, and if you take 1 year of the military budget, 1 year,
right,
that would pay for all of the welfare ever given,
right,
since the 1960s up until now, and still have money.
Oh, no, you ain't supposed to talk about that. Don't talk about that.
Oh,
don't bring no facts.
Okay, sorry.
Don't bring no facts into the situation, Donovan. Okay, we need the lies to perpetuate, to spread. We need people to think that black women are welfare queens. These black so and so,
and they're bankrupting our society.
They're going to the food store, the grocery store.
How dare they?
Buying lobster tails with the EBT card and all of that stuff. We need people to believe that.
Believe that, right?
Okay.
Right, they're bankrupting us, even though our military budget goes up.
Right,
we're giving these big tax breaks to the corporations. But we got to stop that welfare, though. We got to stop that.
Speaking too much truth now.
Sorry.
Okay. In our song, you say Stacey Hamilton. Who is that? Isn't that the figure skater? Or is that
no.
Dorothy Hamilton?
Yeah, or is he talking about Stacey Dash, your girl Stacey Dash?
You're talking about Stacey Dash. Who's Stacey Hamilton? And then it said they had names like Goebbels. Who was a general in Hitler's army? Oh
no, he wasn't actually. Goebbels was the minister of information.
Minister of information.
He dressed in a military uniform, but he wasn't.
And he was Jewish.
I think he had Jewish ties.
Okay. And then Samuel, you say white people don't let us in their family business. Why do we allow them in ours? They actually insult us when they think they got to point out to black people who we should like or dislike. Let's see more. When they talk about Farrakhan, they are talking about us. Absolutely. They are telling us he's not good enough. We need, shading on Martin Luther King, but we need those type of people. We need those type of people who's like, just let black people pee where white people pee and drink water where white people drink water. But that's it. Don't go no further. Don't ask for no real stuff like reparations. Or don't ask for that kind of stuff. You got comments on your thing. I know.
I ain't worried about it.
Oh, don't ask for that kind of stuff. We just want you guys to just slowly, we want y'all to
go to sleep.
Get those people to think that they're making progress. What would you call it? Civil rights? What was it? 50-something years ago, or 51 years ago or so. Is that progress? That now we're just able to drink out of a water fountain in 50 years is like.
Well, ask yourself if you're measuring progress from 1951, the Brown versus the Board of Education, 53 or whatever it was, 54. I'm sorry, 54, up until let's say 67 when the Voting Rights Act was done.
Right.
That was within a 14-year period. A lot of progress was done within that short amount of time. Now, from 67 till now, 50 years later,
we still got John Lewis out there talking about. Back in the day, you want to take some of your comments and read one of them? Okay, I'll take one. Okay, you scared?
I'm not scared. I just can't see.
Donovan also has his live feed on as well. I see comments, but I'm asking him to go read one, but I don't know why he won't.
Okay, well, I'll go read one.
He's going to shoot me a question over here. Okay, and so Alex says, I will take $15 from my taxes and get me a box of Winco chicken. You know what?
There you go.
And Jonelle says, Minister Farrakhan is exposing the Zionist roaches, Lord, who love to hide in the dark and pimp from the shadows. The Jews are insecure and envious of us as black people, and us truly being the chosen people.
Oh, there's people watching.
Oh, okay. The chosen people of God. And they know Elijah Muhammad is the first risen directly from Allah, God in person of Master Farad Muhammad, a dead state. Clearly one mighty in power has taught him. The Jews are the true synagogue of Satan, And the truth is making them clearly manifest in all their evils. So when you tell the truth, you shame the devils and their eugenics and various vices. Oh, absolutely. And Arson, you say, I'm sorry, guys, I was tagging my Facebook. Oh, we're trying to figure out who Stacey was. I'm sorry, guys, I was tagging my Facebook friend, Stacey Hamilton, so she could watch your show because I'm sure she will find you interesting. But I do find it more interesting how far you two took it. Laugh out loud, by the way. Hi, guys. Well, I mean, you know, and I didn't say, right, Al, glad you cleared that up. Well, I just like to say this, you know, because there's a lot of information out there. And a lot of times we watch different things and just people just rambling. Some of you guys might think we're rambling, and I apologize for that. But what we don't want to do is just ramble without any facts or any basis or anything like that. As I say, we're not always right, but we're not always wrong. So, but, you know, we got to have some historical context when we're talking. And I wanted to do that. And the research that I did is nothing new. Many people before me have done it. But I think we all need to make it a habit of talking about these things because, again, like I said, we're going to walk right back into election season and we're going to get these people who are going to pander to us and tell us the things that we want to hear. And then 2 or 4 years later, you're going to come back and say, you know what? I did say that, didn't I? But this time, I'm really going to do it. All I need for you, like, can I get in your church? How about your Rotary Club or this organization? Get me at the school, the PTA. I'll go in there. I talk to all of them.
Please explain to me how Maxine Waters' district that has been gentrified right now, her own people have been moved out.
Donovan, she's getting us reparations. Okay,
she said that 15 years ago.
But, I mean, it's a good question, though.
But this is the kind of stuff we're trying to bring up because a lot of us don't realize what's going on. How can you sit there and get your little soundbite and everybody, oh, Maxine is this and Maxine is that? When, if you look at her background, I'm not bashing her just because she's Maxine Waters. I'm trying to understand. She has one of the worst districts in the state. She is a millionaire who has
68 times over.
68 times over. Her people are being basically forced out of the district. So pretty soon that district is not even going to look like her.
And it's starting not to. I went down there.
Gentrification.
Yeah.
So how do people around the country talk about this woman's a great champion? Look at her. Look at Aunt Maxine. And it's just
because
crazy.
Unfortunately, we as Black people, we just been hopeful for so long. And there's nothing wrong with being hopeful. And so we are hopeful that a change is going to come. You know, Sam Cook, a change is going to come. We are very hopeful that that will happen. And so if this person who is coming off as our leader is saying the things that, you know, are feeding our hopes, then, yeah, okay, I'll give them a look.
30 years?
Well, I mean, you know, they surely ain't going to nominate or elect nobody like Farrakhan.
Yeah, well, we need new blood, whatever the
situation is.
Or,
you know, somebody who is truly speaking truth to power. You know, I know they're just not going to do that. We need somebody who is docile, who, as Margaret Sanger said herself,
takes her time.
We need a pastor or, you know, somebody who
is dynamic,
but who will be able to quell the concerns of the unruly Negroes.
Well, remember during the Watts riots in '66, who did they bring out to stop the? King. After King got killed, who did they bring out to stop the looting and the anger?
I forget.
James Brown.
James Brown. I'm Black and I'm proud.
They brought James Brown out to quell the violence.
James Brown's like, listen, they let me off of parole.
No, this was before that. That was before that.
They let me out of jail early, so
before he got on crack. But that playbook is still, like you said, that playbook is real. And the reason why we're talking about this, everybody, I want everybody to know why we went to the subject.
Bring it on down.
What's going on in South Africa? And Joseph, what's your favorite dude?
Julius Malema.
Julius Malema.
I said that I had an intellectual crush on Julius Malema because that dude is like, listen, we don't give a damn, okay? We need for you white South Africans to go home.
Go home.
You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here.
I'm not calling for you guys to be murdered yet.
You know, leave. We're not going to pay you for the land that you stole, expropriation without compensation. Listen, it didn't belong to you in the first place. Right. So go back to Dutchland, Europe, Germany, Italy, and all these other places that you're from. I'm sure they'll be happy to have you back. But now we are wanting to get onto the business of black people in South Africa. We want to do those things now.
And without the land, you don't, I mean, that's the wealth of the land. And if it belongs to the people, these people will never prosper as long as they don't own any land. Right.
And so, to his point, we need to take a cue from South Africa. You know, it's like, we got to stop, you know, because as I said in the show that we did a couple days ago, Julius Malema was really talking to Cyril Ramaphosa and saying, listen, we just elected you. You was talking a good game. He says, what you're not going to do is spend 12 months talking about, okay, well, let me go look at this program and that program and see what we need to do here. You know, and then 12 months goes by, you ain't did nothing. And surely don't think that you're going to get in here and be no king, because we're not here to serve you. We elected you as our leader, and so you're supposed to work with us. We're not bowing down to you. And if you think that's what you're going to do, we'll have you out of here too. And then that's when he gave the call to everybody else. It's about time you be packing your stuff. Get out of our land that you stole. We ain't paying you for it.
Right.
And so we need to also take a cue from that and say, okay, enough. We're not going to let you guys being white people, white leadership, tell us who we need to follow. Black people are very intelligent people. We have just been so subdued with the nonsense.
And we need to hold our black leaders accountable to do what they say they're going to do.
Hold them accountable. You know, as it said, often, sometimes the black politicians are worse than the white politicians, because we elect them. They get up there in Capitol Hill, wherever they get, and, you know, tell them a narrative about black people or do certain things. And so they speak for the rest of us now. And so they have the rest of, you know, white America or white powers that be thinking, okay, well, this Negro is speaking for the rest of the Negroes.
And that's not the fact.
And it's not the case. And so we need to be very careful, because they are also harmful to black people. So we need to collectively, as Dr. Claude Anderson says, get together and see who is truly going to serve the needs of black people. And he said that is done contractually. We have them sign a contract saying, all right, if you're going to go to Washington and promise us a chocolate soda fountain in every, you know, neighborhood, then here is how you're going to get it done. And if you don't, A, B, C, and D will go on. Stop letting them go and just with lip service.
Right. And have you noticed that a lot of the civil rights icons, that John Conyers, John Lewis, Andrew Young, all of them integrated into the very society that oppressed them.
Oh, yeah. It's like, listen.
We paid them off.
It's exactly what it was. Like, I mean, not to keep beating up Maxine Waters, but it's like, how do you go in and you're not even a thousandaire?
Right.
But now you have $68 million. How did you do that? Can you share with the rest of us?
Right.
So we can come up, you know?
And your district is being gentrified and you aren't saying a word
about it.
Well, yeah,
so what are you doing?
Yeah, she isn't saying a word about it.
What are you doing?
If that was my people being moved like that, shouldn't you notice that and say, wait a minute, I was here 2 years ago and the room was all black. Now it's half Hispanic.
Right. And then, you know, when something is being gentrified, it means that the prices are so astronomical, or people have lost their properties and stuff. And so then you have other people who don't traditionally belong there coming and buy up the property, put Starbucks, Whole Foods, and all kind of stuff in there. And then they move the people of the community out, and then they make it lily white and pristine and all that other stuff. Like, I'm mad about Harlem still, you guys. But anyway, Al says, next week on your show, as D&D will take place, take your listeners, tell your listeners about the advice you didn't, that you gave that young man and his wife. I'll tell you guys about that later, but people call me for advice all the time, and I give it to them. I give it to them. This came Friday. It was pretty unique. And so, hey, Robert, he says, we can't hold them accountable because we don't stand together in our communities. Absolutely.
That's the problem.
Like, why don't I know who my neighbor's voting for?
Right.
Now, I know that voting is supposed to be private, but I mean, if we're a community, shouldn't we know that, okay, hey, girl, who you know, we about to go to the polls next week. Who we voting for, girl? You know I'm voting for such and such because he's doing this and that, or she's got this. You're right. We on the same page. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, but people got to realize that they've rigged the system so much that if you're a registered Democrat, they're going to give you a slate that has nothing but Democratic candidates, and that's what you got to vote for.
Right.
And same thing with the Republicans. That's how that's why these candidates, they don't appreciate your vote as a Democrat. They don't appreciate it because they know I got the black vote.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
Come on. How many of us have walked into the booth, and, as a Democrat, and says, Okay, I don't recognize the name, but shoot, they're a Democrat. I'm going to go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Democrat.
Yeah, it ain't like your ballot's going to say, Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton. It's going to say Hillary Clinton,
right?
This person, that person. There is no option. But if you're an independent, you can have that option, because you can't sit there and tell me that everything the Democrats have done, the Democrats have done, has benefited you.
Right.
You can't say that.
Well, I mean, I think we can say a lot of what they have done have not benefited us. And Al says, I'm in Walmart grocery store and I don't see no Cyril Ramaphosa. Now that was funny.
Cyril Ramaphosa.
And our song said, the thing about you guys in the U.S., because you're from Canada, right? If I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. So the thing about you guys in the U.S., I have always been wondering, I'm Canadian. I'm Canadian is, since many people say that black people blindly put their votes behind the Democrats, which is true. You said we should have read his comment. I find it, let's see. Oh, you went in, brother. You said, I find it a little funny. Here's why. It's because contrary to me, don't you guys only have like 2 choices anyway? Up here, we got several parties, which is what you're saying, to choose from, easily 4. So the fact that you guys seem to only have 2, it's also hard to vote for the wrong party. Laugh out loud. What I mean to say is, in a way, it's like you're doomed if you do, doomed if you don't. Because if you don't vote, all you guys will be accused of not participating, which is what happens.
Yep, exactly.
And should a new party be on the rise?
Both parties attack that new party, but go ahead.
Are there any other parties that exist aside from the Republicans and Democrats?
No.
Like, how do you make your black vote count to make a difference? And that's exactly what you're just talking about. Should have read your comment, but we make our black vote count. But hey, let's start our own party.
Right.
Because guess what? We know that in a lot of elections, the black vote
swings the
election. So how about we take our vote and say, this is who we're voting for?
And stop registering as Democrat or Republican.
Yeah, why not start our own party?
Right. Or, whatever.
The Black Liberation Voters of United something.
Yeah, something like that. But again, in the American system, though, when a third party rises, both parties attack that third party because they can't get along. Right. The system won't work for them if a third party rises.
But that's fine. We ain't worried about them.
Right.
Whether we win or lose, we voted together. And y'all know that we are forced to be reckoned with. We vote together regardless. And Jonelle says, we are so to the illusion of inclusion. Absolutely. Our vision is locked into American dreaming, and we are blind to our own self-love and best interest. So where there is no black vision, we perish, living and dying. Living and dying for white ones like slaves. My people are destroyed due to their lack of knowledge. When the Black Panthers rose after being inspired by Malcolm, the white FBI said, if there's going to be a black leader, they will make them for black people. And this is only evidence why the Zionists fear Minister Farrakhan. He's not thinking nor operating from the oppressor's doctrines and is exposing the falsehood and methods with the truth. Absolutely. As you said, he is not of them at all. And so they can't control him, which is why they're always trying to take him down. He's starting to wake the black people up. Because, there was a time, a space and time where black people were like, oh, Farrakhan, he's evil.
Yeah,
oh, he's a racist. Oh, why can't we just love all white people? Oh, why can't we just get along? Oh, he's just teaching hate. But now he's starting to wake up a lot of black people because it's like, well, he's right.
Right. I have a question for you in regards to Minister Farrakhan. Has there been a duly elected successor to him? Because he's up there now.
He's 84, and he's been there for 62 years.
Right.
But, don't get it twisted. The minister's sharp.
No, I know that. But what I'm saying is, though, in a time of, if the American government wants to do something, they can do something. But what I'm saying is there a successor had been named?
Oh, I'm sure. We don't know who it is, but I'm sure it's somebody. There's a few people who could.
Yeah, because the reason I say that is like whenever it's like in African countries, whatever, or especially in our organization here in America, when the leader dies, the movement dies.
No, because to that theory, if that was true, when Elijah Muhammad died, then the movement would have died. Now, indeed, it did had its moment, but it came back. It was resurrected under the under Farrakhan. Right. So.
Right.
I think, once you know who you are and you're rooted in your blackness, that doesn't die. You continue that on. Now, obviously, it would be a great tragedy if something did happen to Farrakhan. In fact, if something suspicious happened to the brother,
well,
it's going to be on and cracking.
Well, what I'm saying is, as mortals, we know he's not going to be here forever.
Well,
and
yeah,
you got to make sure that there's a strong
absolutely.
person to
Trust
keep
me,
on his word.
That organization, they ain't been around that long to say, well, we didn't think of that.
No, I'm sure, but you would think you would know because, like when Honorable Elijah Muhammad it went to his son Fard that took over, and then he watered it down.
Yeah, he jacked it up.
And then
it was two fractions. Yeah.
So
okay, and so then a good question though. So then she said, by making informed choices in the first place, my Canadian brother. Well, yeah. A lot of us think that we are making good informed choices, but you ask yourself, I don't know who you voted for, but voting for Hillary, damn sure voting for Trump wasn't going to be a good choice for us. But voting for Hillary, lives of black people.
Yeah, she's a war hawk.
Yeah, she loves that war. And under her and Obama together, they went over to Libya and killed a lot of black people after Gaddafi made it a failed state. And so now we're like, oh my God, the slavery in Libya. How?
And then
why?
Everywhere she went, the Clinton Foundation followed her.
Yeah.
And she made a lot of money.
Right. So it's like, come on, y'all. And then Samuel says the Republican and Democrat parties are two wings of the same dirty bird.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Hey, Secret Garden, what's happening? It says local politics are king. Control local politics. Absolutely. People really need to get that message in. Okay, you don't want to vote for the president? Fine.
Fine. Doesn't matter. Right.
Go vote for your city council. Because as I always say, drive through your neighborhood and look at the things that your city councils are allowing to go up. You can always tell what your city council think about you when you can drive through your neighborhood and you have 40 checking the cashes, 20 Popeye chickens, some pawn shops, and casinos, game, all that stuff. They let that stuff go in your neighborhood. That's what they think about. You know why? As black people, we say, well, shit, I ain't gonna vote. And so we don't go to the city councils. And then that stuff just gets, You want that to go on 125th? Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. Oh, well, I know they have 20 pawn shops. Well, you know what? It's revenue for the city, right?
And then what's really the killer is when those councilmen end up leaving the city within 2 years and they relocate somewhere else.
They left the city with some money and relocating somewhere else. And they've left you guys, us, holding the bag. And so, walking down your neighborhood and there's, all of these 99-cent stores and stuff. It's popping up. Go to Beverly Hills and see how many 99-cent stores they have in
warehouses.
And warehouses. Go to Beverly Hills or the astute part of your where you live and see how many of those things are there.
True story. Here in the city of Moreno Valley, we have 12 department heads. Not one of the department heads live in this city. The city manager doesn't even live here. So what does that tell you?
I jack up y'all city and go home to my nice city.
Exactly.
And Al says, don't get it twisted. People, when they say vote, they mean at the polls, not because American Idol is coming on tonight.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. And then you also say the minister must be a vegan because he don't look 84. Well,
he looks good.
He's he said, admitted at some point in time he did slip off of the Muslim diet, which is 1 meal a day. And if you're good, 1 meal every 2 days. And if you're really good, 1 meal every 3 days. And so
I'd be dead.
You'd be fine. I follow the 1 meal a day or the Eat to Live, I call it, plan. And people are calling different stuff. But yeah, of course, the minister is doing well. He's taking care of himself. He's got a lot of people to take care of him. So he's going to be around here a long time. Brother got fire. And then Floyd says, I have a feeling that we're headed to a 4-party system here. Democrats, Republicans, Liberty, and Progressive.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of, I heard Maxine Waters, matter of fact, say, I'm progressive.
I don't think so.
I'm a progressive.
Yeah, no, she says that when it's popular.
Right.
See?
And then she say, not all of us are blind about the political choices we make at election time. Canadian, so our song. No, not all of us. But as our song said, if you have 2 parties, it's like, I'm not going to vote for Trump. And I really don't like Hillary, but if there's a lesser of 2 evils, I'm going to vote for Hillary.
Right. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I voted and I had the choice between, I voted for Johnson. But if my only choices were Trump or Hillary, I would vote for Trump. I mean, I'm going to be honest about that because of what I know about Hillary.
Right. Yeah, some people have made the argument that Hillary was worse.
She was worse. So.
And Floyd says, honestly, black people are unaffiliated, independent. It makes our votes more valuable and higher in demand because politicians actually have to fight for them. Absolutely.
And they've got to banter to us, right?
Instead of saying, a lot of Republicans probably give up like shit. Well, I ain't going over to the hood. We know they voted for Democrat anyway.
Right.
So,
yeah, they usually just give that up. Strong in the Democratic areas, they give it up.
Right. Let's just we ain't even going over there. And then Al says the tall light-skinned brother that the minister acknowledges every year as Savior's Day will be his predecessor. You talking about brother Ishmael Muhammad, student minister?
Okay.
Who knows? Who knows? And Jonelle says the nation is not going nowhere. Damn it. He didn't say damn it, but I did.
No, I hope it does.
And he
that's
says,
why
but the white Zionist own nation and system don't got that long.
Right.
Or sorry, says, your assistant has a very valid point. You're my assistant.
My assistant.
Get my copy.
Yeah, hold on.
Your assistant. That's Donovan. I'll show you guys again, just,
Don't be scared. I don't want to scare anybody, so.
Okay, that's Donovan, my assistant. That's my buddy. So your assistant has a very valid point here. At this point, at the age of Farrakhan, I do believe we should be able to anticipate who would take over Farrakhan if he would go. Well, I'm sure they know. They just ain't putting it all out there. Right? You get some things you gotta.
Yeah, because sometimes if they know who the guy is, they might get to him and say, "Hey."
Absolutely, it's strategy. All about the strategy. And Floyd, you say, with the power and influence of black people, especially black women, have in our culture and on social media, our votes could be a major leverage. Absolutely, and that's why I say it is highly important that when we use this platform, like I don't go live a lot, but when we do, we should put out information that's helpful, information that's palatable, but that's the truth. Let's not get on here hollering and screaming and, just spewing a bunch of falsehoods that don't help. Like this past week, some cat named Young Pharaoh, he put out this dossier, this indictment of the minister. There's a bunch of lies. It's like, dude, I almost cussed. I don't think I cussed today. But that's so elementary what you did. Oh, he killed Malcolm X. That's been debunked.
That's
my 8-year-old nephew can debunk that, dude. Like, come on. Come up to the big leagues. Yeah. Tell us some earth-shattering stuff that nobody's heard. I mean, that's been debunked over and over and over again. But you got these idiots, I'm going to call them idiots, out there sharing the stuff. See, Young Pharaoh. Who the hell is Young Pharaoh? Young Pharaoh just probably came out of diapers yesterday.
And Young Pharaoh's reading a book that was written by the white man to give that narrative.
Exactly. Young Pharaoh's probably an agent, which I said that to him on his page and he deleted and blocked me. I said he's an agent for the white man, and he is. Mm-hmm. It's like you ain't got no solutions, though. Yeah. You talking about people, but you ain't no solutions. Why? Yeah. What's your angle, brother?
What's your basis of your allegation?
Right. And then Floyd said, with the power. Okay, I read that. And then Dennis says, I voted for Bernie Sanders in the primary election.
Yeah, but that was rigged. Mm-hmm. That was rigged.
He said it was rigged.
It was rigged against Bernie.
Because if you think about it, Bernie Sanders, wasn't he independent? Mm-hmm. Why didn't he stay that way? Mm-hmm. Why did he come on over to the Democrat side?
You mean during the election?
Well, whenever he came over.
Well, that's because as an independent, the independents are there. They have to court. When they do their groupings, they have to go one side or the other. So,
well, how did Gary Johnson do it?
Gary Johnson, he was completely independent. Because remember, Gary Johnson wasn't a senator. He wasn't elected to anything. He just ran for president.
Oh, got it. Okay. School me, brothers. I didn't say I knew everything. Okay. I know almost everything.
Yeah, that's why I'm here to help you.
All right, I'm glad. And then Samuel says, that was the nation's first term examination with the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. We plan on learning the lesson from the first term examination and passing the second term examination. It's about doing the work and keeping the structure and not personality worship. Absolutely. And that's an excellent point. A lot of times people, as Donovan's point he made, when the figurehead dies, everything else dies. It's like when the grandma, the matriarch of the family passes, the cousins aren't close anymore.
Right. Nobody meets up at that
Nobody meets up.
Spot.
It's like, hey, have you seen cousin such and such? Yeah, it's 1985 at grandma's funerals when I said. So that's kind of how it is. But when you're not worshiping personalities, although we love the minister dearly, when you're not worshiping personalities, you are able to get the intended message, the purpose of what you're involved in, and able to keep it going. God forbid. Al says people need to go back and look at Barbershop 2 because Ice Cube brought up the same thing about black neighborhoods and city council. Mm-hmm. If that's what it takes, watch Barbershop 2. Right. Billy says, why do you think Hillary Rodham Clinton was worse? I like how you threw her middle name up in there too. Well, Hillary Rodham Clinton was worse because Hillary Rodham Clinton she did a lot of shady and stuff to black people.
Yeah. The Clintons in general,
all over the planet.
Yeah, you can go on YouTube. Like I said, you got to do the research for yourself. But go on YouTube, and there's a channel that kind of talks about the Clintons and what they were involved in. And Hillary Rodham Clinton was a Republican.
Yeah, she was a Goldwater girl.
A Goldwater girl
Back in the day. And who was Goldwater?
Yeah, he was Barry Goldwater, was a former general. And he was a senator in Arizona.
Wasn't he a big time racist too?
Yes. He was into all that stuff like that. But Hillary and the foundation and what they've done and how they've done it. I mean, you got to really do your research. And like I said, don't go by what we're saying.
Do your research. As you will, Reagan says.
Trust but verify.
Not that we quote Reagan a lot, but we do like that quote.
Yeah. And you're going to find out that a lot of stuff that she stood for, I'm very sure you would be against. Because it's against us.
It's like now, in the last couple of months, the hashtag, I guess, is not trending anymore. But, there's still slavery in Libya. But a lot of us cried, oh, my God, there's slavery in Libya. We need to do something. Well, hell, that's what Hillary Rodham Clinton did. Her along with Obama, they thought it was okay to go kill Gaddafi, over some trumped up bullcocker. And they destabilized the government. And so now everybody and their mama going there and having their way and making slaves out of people here and there. So if we think that's a good thing that Hillary did, the hell, vote for her if she runs again.
Right, and you got to remember during the election, though, how many actual black events did Hillary go to? She
had some hot sauce in her damn bag in one of them.
But that wasn't a black event. She was at an event that had black people there.
That was a hot sauce.
But like I said, she didn't go to Compton. She didn't go to Chicago in these black areas.
Because she already knew she had them votes.
Right, exactly. She didn't have to do that. So we were taken for granted. She's like, oh, we're in there. But having hot sauce and stuff, that's just ridiculous. Corrine Brown just went to prison, and Corrine Brown was a super delegate for Hillary. Hillary didn't even give to her the courtesy of writing her a letter of representation.
Because she didn't have no hot sauce in her bag.
Exactly.
Corrine didn't have a hot sauce in her bag.
But this is what I'm saying. We do all this stuff for oh, yeah, I'm with her. I'm in trouble now. Hillary was nowhere to be found.
But you're with her, but where's she going?
Right.
Is she taking you somewhere you don't want to go?
Exactly.
And so Giuliani says, we are $1.3 trillion black nation within a white one, that only one needs to separate and rely on our own innate intelligence and God-given ability, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches, our unity will give us all we need. The white Zionist owned nation depends on us and nothing truly independent of black people. No, absolutely. We are balling black people. We got $1.3 trillion. We need to put it to use. We give 97% of that away. We need to stop doing that. And that way, in the future, it's like, are we voting? I don't know. Doesn't matter. We got our own money. We got our own thing. We got our own community. We do
like the Asians.
Matter.
I mean, it's like the Asian vote. Do you see anybody
harping about Trump?
They don't.
Trump's going to send me a food box.
Right. And you don't see the Asians worried about being kicked out of the country.
Right.
They've got economic power.
That's where it's at. And then she says, watch for baiters looking for info. Who's looking? Is that the name of it, or?
Yeah, these are just people that troll.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, I hope you're getting some good information. Yeah. And our song said to the co-host about your comment about why you would have voted for Hillary if you had to choose between the lesser of two evils. Thank you. I had been saying that forever. And about let's see. And about the assistant comment earlier. I'm sorry. I meant to replace it with co-host right away, but I forgot. My apologies. I was giving you a hard time. He really is my assistant, but don't. He's going to wash my car later, y'all.
That's it. And it needs washing out.
Right.
It needs washing.
It's okay. And then Al's Jack's joke of the day.
Here we go.
Shot Abraham Lincoln. He said he was shot by John Wilkes in the booth.
In the booth, that's right.
He actually told me he got in trouble for that at school one day when he was young. He made that joke, and the teacher pulled him by his ear and told his mama on him. Al been joking since Heck was knee high to a pup, whoever the heck is. Okay. And then Al says, since the minister is called honorable, the Baptist preacher should be called no damn good.
No, that's a good one. That's good.
Gonna get in trouble. Hey, Pepe. It said, why is the left side moving away from God? You talking about the Democrats? Why are they moving away from God? I'm assuming, I'm going to try to read into your comment a little bit more as far as taking God out of school, promoting the gay and lesbian agenda. What else have we got going on here?
The music.
I get what you're saying. That's a good question. Maybe because I don't know. Maybe times are changing where people are not as.
No, the devil's on the rampage.
Okay, Donovan said the devil's on the rampage. Okay, I like that. The devil's on the rampage. Yeah. But I mean, that is a good question. You know, and so then some will argue, you know, maybe we should have God in schools. Well, you know, that maybe there won't be less shootings and all this other stuff. I just think that's debatable. You know. Back in the day. Because I know God was in school with me a lot of times, and I experienced a lot of racism and stuff. And I'm like,
you said the Pledge of Allegiance, and you said the prayer.
I said the Pledge of Allegiance, and
start your day.
Well, I didn't really say it because my dad was like,
"Don't you say that."
You know better.
Right.
And Al says, I believe Clinton really cared and loved Hillary simply because he messed with Monica, so he wouldn't stay up Hillary's pants, so he tried to make a joke and I bumbled it. But Hillary is sticking with her man regardless. Okay, Monica, just, you know, I don't know.
Hey.
She tried to come out with something not too long ago.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't want to sound ignorant and stuff, but
the
guy's the president of the United States. Doesn't that come with the job? I mean, you would be, you know, stupid to think that men of power don't do these things.
Well, I listen, I'm not trying to tell people how to cheat because I ain't never cheated. Cheating is not my thing, Al. I don't know how to cheat, Kay. I would just think if you're going to cheat on your wife, don't do it with a child. Now, Monica was, what, 21, 22?
Yeah, 21, 22.
Of course, she's on the phone with Linda Tripp. Girl, let me tell you.
This is what kills me. If you're going to cheat, too, my mom told me this, my dad told me this back in the day. Don't cheat with somebody you work with at the workplace.
Don't where you eat.
Yeah, don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't,
I see. I'm really trying not to curse.
Don't do it. And people just do
right.
it. And,
yeah, he should have. I'm not telling people how to cheat again, but you know, you cheating with a child. You know, she gonna. That's cute to her. I just had sex with the president, girl. You won't believe it. Oh, this blue dress had on the blue dress.
And he told me he's gonna leave her.
Yes. And, you know, and then Linda was like, "Girl, really? Shit, the Inquirer is paying good money for this kind of stuff."
Yes.
And the rest is history. And so Billy says, anyone from Arkansas, from racist from 0 to 2. So you basically say anybody from Arkansas is racist from the beginning until now.
Yeah, they have some bad stuff.
So what are you saying?
Down
That Clinton was he was racist and he would just play. Bill Clinton was the first black president.
No,
okay?
Not true.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't.
You didn't see him on Arsenio. He was.
No.
Yes, he was.
Everybody, do your homework. Okay, let me ask you this. If my mother is a mulatto and she has sons, what color are her sons?
Listen.
Wait, I'm just asking.
Suspend your disbelief, brother.
No. I'm just asking.
Clinton was a black man.
No, okay, that's fine. But if my mother's a mulatto and she has sons with a white man, that makes her sons what?
They black.
They black.
Right.
Dwight Eisenhower.
Oh, shit.
Mother.
I cussed.
Mother was a mulatto. That's a fact. It's on her birth certificate.
What'd I tell you about facts?
Sorry.
Don't listen. You can't drop too many facts.
The greatest general that ever lived was a black man. Nobody wants to believe that. But look at his mother's birth certificate.
Okay, you ain't going to have it too many times to drop some more facts, okay?
Sorry.
You keep it to a minimum around
So the
here.
first black president was not Bill Clinton.
I stand corrected. Okay, so he was the second one, and Obama was the third one.
Right.
Depending on who you ask. If he played a mean-ass horn on Arsenio, we would just, black people was throwing their drawers on the stage and
Exactly.
And then Jonelle says, exactly, God bless the child that make their own food box. You ain't lying. You know what? I saw a video, and I believe it's fake to some degree, because Trump and them, listen, if Trump and them was sending out food boxes, it'd be more than one video going around Facebook. But she's basically saying, look at this mess here. He's sending us frozen food. He's sending us this, and we sitting there, I ain't eating this shit, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, to your point, you could go get your own food box.
Exactly.
Because I wouldn't eat. I would not be eating that. Sorry. I'd go make me a mud pie before I ate that.
And for those that you don't know, maybe you're right. Clinton was the first black president because he has a son. Google Bill Clinton's son.
Then what I tell you about the facts?
Sorry. He has to be a black man because he didn't want to take care of that one. I'm sorry, that's his son. But Google that. Bill Clinton's black son.
Leave the jokes to Al.
Yeah. Sorry, Al.
Al says, since the Honorable rock-throwing Donovan didn't win city council, I don't care about politics. And Billy says, don't pick your He says, as my nephew said once when he was a child, Billy says, okay, follow me, y'all. Don't pick your 5-letter kitty cat. Where you shit at?
Right. That's
y'all pick up on the clue that I put down. 5-letter kitty cat.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then Jonelle says, one drop rule. Yes, one drop rule makes you negra.
His mother was a mulatto. It's on her birth certificate.
Right.
Mulatto.
Hey, Anthony, what's happening? Long time no see. And Billy says, Bill played the part. He got a 14-year-old girl pregnant. What?
Sure did. He was involved in a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff.
What they call him? Slick Willie?
Slick Willie.
Well, damn. You Slick Willie.
He was having fun. The Minot Airport in Arkansas, that's where a lot of drugs were flown in from Central America into Arkansas.
True.
So,
and Anthony says, Bill Clinton is not black stock. Listen, I'm telling y'all what black people said. Bill Clinton is the first black president. And Al says, my dad is white, but my mom says his wangama-thing was black. So that makes me the chip the block came off of.
Wow.
Jonelle, it's also been stated that black man named Charles Hanson was the first black president.
Charles Hanson, yeah, that was the guy. Correct me if I'm wrong, at the Continental Congress?
The Continental Congress.
Yeah.
Donovan is also the resident. He's not only just my assistant and my partner in crime, he's also the resident historian. He has a degree, one of his 11 degrees in history.
Right.
So
the Continental Congress did have a black president that oversaw the Confederation.
We're going to have a segment called Break It Down, Brother. Break it down, brother.
Yeah. He oversaw the Articles of Confederation.
So was he? Is that who you're talking about, Jonelle? And then it says, boy, you know too much. You should look into getting a Secret Service at Al. Yeah, they'd be like, Al, you can't be in it. We know who you know.
Yes, exactly.
And Jonelle says, Clintons are truly a low-down, dirty shame.
They are.
Watch your mouth, Jonelle, okay? You don't be talking about her, because there's a lot of people with her and him. Okay? There's a lot of
black folks. A lot of black folks.
And Billy says, your assistant is great. He knows everything. He does. I taught him everything.
Everything I know.
I taught him everything he knows.
I used to hang around the Coulters in high school, so that helped me out a lot.
No, Donovan's a really sharp dude. Very, very, very highly intelligent, sharp dude.
Thank you very much.
Although sometimes you would come here, like I said, you knock on the door and this dude is running around in the Spider-Man full on from head to toe Spider-Man suit.
Yes.
Like, how you doing today, Donovan? Oh, I'm doing great. I just got through scaling some walls here.
Yes. Like I said, it's hard to be a black superhero. I didn't play football.
Yeah, so, and he might come here and he's dressed like a Star Trek, with the ears and the whole nine. I kid you not.
That's it.
Donovan's an eclectic dude, okay? And so was the Unabomber. They say the Unabomber was a genius as well.
Too. He was a genius.
Yeah.
Absolutely was.
And he was blowing on people's hands and getting mailboxes. Okay, don't be doing that kind of stuff.
Yes, I had a lot of time to read. And remember back in the day, we used to read encyclopedias and stuff. Yes. I used to read that stuff. And
remember when the people used to come around with the encyclopedia? Hey, we have the new edition of the encyclopedia. It's only going to cost you a house payment to get it. Yes. And, your mom and dad paid on the encyclopedia.
Yeah, wasn't there an episode of Good Times with that where Ron Glass was in it? He was the blind guy.
I don't remember that. I didn't watch all that TV like you and Al.
Yeah, he was blind, and he was like, "Yeah, I got these encyclopedias," and they kind of felt sorry for him, and and really the guy had it was a good episode. It was really good.
And then Anthony said he was the president of the United Union, not the United States.
Oh, the United Union, yeah.
Okay,
yeah, it's different. Yeah,
Anthony also does a lot of reading too, so we're in good hands with all these. And Jonelle is saying yes as well. So we're in good hands with all these actual people with the history, your book knowledge, And another thing is awesome too. I'm friends with a lot of you guys, obviously, and a lot of you guys are very smart. You read. You're not just reading the knowledge, but you're applying the knowledge because it's one thing to read. Hey, I've read 10 books today.
Dee told me. I saw it on her show.
Yeah. What did you do with that information? I just read it.
Yeah, remember I always told you have an intelligence audience. You need to get that out there.
I don't hang around with no crazy, unintelligent people.
Yeah, I always get the shenanigans and stuff like that on my show.
Because you love the ratchets.
I do love the ratchets.
So there you have it. And then Al says, if the kitty cat is whack, turn your back and eat some Kellogg's Big 'em Smacks. Oh, you a rapper now. I didn't know. See? I didn't know those things about you. And Jonelle says, the Clintons are guilty of a lot of hits on people. To hell with them. Allah, God is sufficient. Yeah. Yep. So, again, don't allow people, how we doing on time?
We got a minute.
Okay, so we need to stop allowing people people, the powers that be, the oppressor, to tell us who our leaders need to be, right? We need to stop it, form our own opinions. As Donovan just said, we're all very intelligent. Each one teach one. Let's spread the word. Black people are waking up. We are the sleeping giant that they're trying to keep asleep. We are waking up. The time is now. Anthony says the Bill Clintons raped Haiti.
Yep, sure did.
Yes, that's what Donovan says. If you feel froggy, go to Haiti and yell Clinton's name.
See what happens.
And say Bill Clinton and see what happens. See if you make it out. Somebody gonna do something to you. Go up in Haiti talking about how long live the Clintons. Just let's go over there. I want to see you do it. See how funny and fast you can run.
Exactly.
Put that Spider-Man suit on and see make it do what it do.
That's right.
Al says Ron Glass played the blind encyclopedia salesman and Michael's principal when he didn't want to go get bused to the white school.
Right, that's it. That was
Al and Donovan are the resident television historical keepers of the
flame.
Of the flame.
That's it.
So anyway, y'all, I know I've been on here talking a very long time. An hour and a half went by fast, dude.
Fast.
All right, so, and Jonelle says, power long live, long overdue to our people. Absolutely, brother. So anyway, I will see you guys. Donovan will see you guys. He's going to produce the YouTube video. We'll have that up in the next couple of days or so. So I will see you guys around on Facebook. As always, thank you so much. I know the podcast is logged up. I got to get good at that.
Yep. Like, share, and comment. We'd like to hear you guys' comments. Like,
share, and comment. And we will see you. And then Anthony says they're going to cut your head off. Go over to Haiti. Exactly. I'm going to be on a helicopter as you're saying it, okay? And I'll try my best to reel you up.
Yes.
You better throw
my spider web.
Your spider things up there, you know.
Exactly.
And in our song, it says about the person who mentioned Mr. Hanson. I think the first name was not Charles, but John. If I remember right, I remember reading a long time ago that part about him being black, etc., was supposedly in a gray zone, along with the other 6 or 7 first presidents of the United States. They were forgotten by history about Haiti, and I came from there, and trust me, they hate the Clintons.
That's it.
Al says Ron Glass was a star on Barney Miller.
Barney Miller.
Yeah,
great baseline.
And Samuel says peace. Then it says Rodham Clinton. Peace unto you as well, Anthony. So, all right, I will see you guys later. Have a great day.
Have a great Sunday. Enjoy.
Have a great Sunday. Donovan says peace.